Hello folks, Eli Evans. I'm here once again at Suffolk County Family Court. And if those who may not have heard what happened, it was Tuesday where James Kelly was illegally detained and unlawfully as well, and in custody due to the fact that he was exercising his First Amendment rights to record in court. He was here actually to support another victimized parent, and as a result, like I said, he was illegally detained while he was exercising his First Amendment right. Subsequent to that, he was held in Yaphank, if I said it right, correctional facility. The judge initially held him in contempt for recording for 30 days, which was ridiculous, completely excessive, and lo and behold, with a lot of public pressure and just a lot of work behind the scenes, he was released last night. So we're here to exercise our First Amendment rights, to just expose this corruption of these tyrannical family courts.
It's disgusting what's happening.
James, thank goodness he's going to be here soon as well, hopefully within the hour, and we hope to get more people. Well, we have a bunch here. Defund family court, I agree. Free James Kelly. So, like I was saying, thank goodness he's out due to many people, a lot of support and public pressure. So, here we go.
Good morning, good folks.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. We're here at 400 Carlton Avenue, waiting for the arrival of James Kelly, a true patriot and a hero. It's true, not all heroes wear capes.
And he stood
Thank
up
you, James
for
Kelly.
our beliefs. We have to stand up together as a family. and
We're
as a
talking about
country.
innocent, loving children here, being ripped apart from loving fathers and loving mothers. Surely we could do better than this. It's a disgrace. Something has to be done. Everybody that comes out of this place has a story, a terrible story. And admittedly, if there's any neglect or abuse, of course, but when there isn't, there's false allegations, a tactic used just to gain an upper hand in court. Shame on them. Where's the jury trials? And these people that work in the same court building, over and over, day in and day out, they form working relationships. You know, they want to, a lot of these people, when you sit in the courtrooms and you watch them, they want to get out of there on Friday. You'll hear them, come on, call the next case. Meanwhile, it's a child's life. Surely we could do better than this. We must do better than this.
100% agreed. Well said. And just, yeah, once again to reiterate, if those are joining, I know it's early, we're here to exercise our peacefully exercise our First Amendment rights, to expose the corrupt, slimy courts. I mean, that's really what it is. And this, and just to kind of reiterate what happened the other day, Tuesday, James Kelly was illegally detained and taken into custody for exercising his First Amendment right to record, for to maintain transcript integrity. And he was there for a victimized parent. And Judge Alfred Graff, that's his name, held him summarily in contempt and sentenced him to 30 days in the county. Luckily, subsequent to that, the next couple days, just a lot of public pressure, a lot of support. People rallied behind James, and thank goodness he was able to get released last night. So we have a bunch of people here, and James is scheduled to be here within the hour. So we're waiting more people are supposed to show. And here we are. This is the courthouse, Suffolk County Family Court. So,
what's going on here is a travesty of justice. And who pays the price are innocent, loving children. Innocent, loving children like Tommy Valva. But every Thomas Valva, there's hundreds and thousands of other innocent children suffering miserably.
and if you could just introduce yourself to the audience.
My
and
name
explain.
is James Fiegel. I'm an advocate for children, and I'm an avid court watcher. And I'm letting you know what's going on here in some of these courtrooms is outrageous. It's disgusting. I'm not even a parent, but due to the untimely death of my brother, I seen with a 5-year-old. So don't think because you're not a parent that you can't be put into this family court system.
Absolutely, yeah, and just not parents, of course, but people non-parents. You know, we just have to come out and you know, send this message and support victims, especially children who are being illegally, unlawfully separated.
And how does that child deal with that?
Absolutely.
Not saying or hugging an innocent, loving, fit parent. We're not talking about neglect. We're talking about innocent, loving. People make false allegations to gain an upper hand on in the court case. How does a child go without seeing a father, a loving father? It can't. It shows up later through depression, suicide, things, lifelong depression. Surely we could do better. There has to be better mechanics within this system here. These judges, it's their way or the highway. And we could do better. We must do better. We're talking innocent, loving children here. For every Thomas Valva, there's hundreds and thousands of children. Just talk to the people when they come out of here. They're coming out in tears.
Absolutely.
And you have, I gotta tell you, some of the judges, not all, some of the judges, because I've been welcomed in the courtroom, where judges actually speak and interact and are not worried about me being there. But then there are other judges that don't want you in the courtroom at all. Over 100 times in Judge U's Part 10 on the second floor, over 100 times he shut the court to the public. Surely there should be an investigation with that. Good people, get involved. Please come out and court watch at 400 Carlton Avenue. You'll see it for yourself. You'll see the stories of families decimated because they can't see their children. We're talking the latest craze is grandparents. Grandparents can't see their children. Enough is enough. Speak up. There you go, sir.
And that's a good point,
We've been to
Jim.
court many a time.
I'm sorry, go ahead. You want to
We've been
introduce
to court.
yourself to the audience?
I'm down on Caulfield. Been to court multiple times for kids and for the parents. And you see moms and you see dads where they put against each other. They don't want them to be able to talk to each other and try to work things out. If you work things out, then you wouldn't have this. The court systems, all they want to do is put you in there, suck you in for the money.
Right.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's all a money pit. That's
all
one of the
money
many
pit.
layers of corruption that we're dealing with. And just to kind of tag on to the point that Jim said, that's right. They want to block you out, but this courthouse. It's publicly funded by taxpayers' dollars, and you have a right under Judiciary Law 4 as a member of the public to view public proceedings. And many people aren't aware of that. Obviously, a lot are becoming more privy to that, who are affected, and that's pretty much what he does.
Good folks, children are suffering right now at this place at 400 Carlton Avenue.
Right.
400 Carlton Avenue, and people are speaking up. It's terrible. There needs to be an investigation.
And the buck just doesn't stop here. It's all over
No,
the state, New York State, all
Yes,
over the country.
correct.
But yeah, this is just one of the many
There's Mr.
corrupt,
Kelly, I believe,
slimy
right now.
Yes,
courts
it
that we're
is.
dealing
I
with.
believe Mr. Kelly is on
Oh,
his way.
wow. As we are protesting,
Very
here
good,
is
Mr.
James
Kelly.
Kelly.
A round of applause for Mr. Kelly there.
James
Yes,
is arriving.
sir. God bless that man.
We are live, James.
Yes.
We are capturing James. Breaking news. How are you? How you feeling, James?
Doing well.
Great to see
Happy
you.
Happy to be out.
All right, amazing. Anything to say to the audience?
I have
as
so
I'm live
much to
streaming?
say.
Hey, James, how are
Go
you?
ahead,
God
James.
bless this
I am
man
doing
right
well.
here.
Welcome.
I
Glad
like
to
these
s-
colors.
Love him. Love
Love
him.
'em.
Charles, thank you very much.
for his inmates.
Eli,
Yeah.
thank you.
How you doing, my brother?
Very good, very good.
Mr. Kelly, God bless you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I want to thank so many people that that have helped. I want to start with the person I was in court, my client, Tracy Arms. I want to follow up, surprisingly, with Judge Graff. And I know that sounds kind of strange since he's the one that put me in, but the last words I said to him were thank you.
That's right. Yeah.
And I said that because he screwed up. And I wouldn't be here if he didn't screw up. And I wouldn't be here but for all the support of the people that peacefully and lawfully did the right thing. Is that mine? Oh. And the court officers, very professional. Now, I disagree with some of what was done on a legal point, but they were all very professional, very respectful. I'm going to go over and shake their hands in a minute. And the jails, not a pleasant place, but the people there were professional. There was the issue of these glasses. And these glasses obviously have metal frames. And there was an issue with the right of access to the courts because I wanted to see the law library. I was, of course, in 23-hour lockdown. But I wanted to be able to see when I got to the law library. And reasonably so, there's supposed to be no metal in the jail facility because it can be turned into weapons.
Mm-hmm.
However, you have the ADA and due process issues that conflict with that. And I raised the issue, and it went up a couple of levels. And I thought that, well, that was that. And I'm going to put my jacket on because it is kind of cold.
Go ahead.
But I went down there, and tell you what, these guys are cold too. So I'm going to take a minute and shake their hands.
Great, very
Sure.
good, Jim. And thank you
Very
again.
good. Thanks
I'm
again,
gonna come
Jim.
back.
And
Captain
yeah,
Boda.
perfect. So there you go, folks. James Kelly has arrived. Amazing to see him. He's in good spirits, and yeah, you know, he's a trailblazer regarding the integrity of transcripts. And as I was saying earlier, as you could see, he's going over speaking with the court officers. As I was saying earlier,
How do you make these
we need
clear
integrity.
statements?
We need integrity in our transcripts. If you're a affected party and ever been a defendant, plaintiff, whatever, in a court proceeding, you'll notice, you know, if you ever get the transcripts, a lot of words, a lot of are admitted, things are mixed up that you never said. They're butchered. I mean, they're just totally butchered, and honestly, it's not a coincidence. So to maintain that integrity, James has always emphasized, he's emphasized cameras in courts. So that's kind of what it's about, cameras in courts, to pretty much maintain that integrity. Like I was telling the audience, there's no integrity, everything's butchered, a lot of words are omitted. If you've ever been a party, such as a plaintiff or a defendant in court,
We can do much
they
better.
don't maintain that integrity.
We're talking about innocent, loving children
Here's the
suffering.
signs.
How come no CPS caseworker was
Let me
held
get the other
accountable?
sign. Oh, sorry.
If it was
And
your
that's
son
what
or
it's about.
grandson, what would you
Absolute
do? Would you hold the
procedural
sign
due process
next to me?
right to bear cameras in the
I'm not
courtroom
even
as a
parent,
party
but I know
shall not
it's
be
the right thing
infringed.
to do. As a
That's
veteran
right.
and a member of this community, I say shame.
So
Shame on this place.
that's what it's about.
We can
And
certainly do better.
Eli, thank you very much
Yeah,
for all
my
of your
pleasure,
support. I
my
want to
pleasure.
thank everybody. Charles,
yes, absolutely.
thank you for putting this together.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance.
It's, you know,
Any-
this is what happens when not only do we know our rights,
Do we know how to lawfully enforce them, but we choose to vigorously do so. And that's just so important because that's just not done often enough.
Unfortunately not.
How many people do you know of that face down judges?
None.
How many people do you know that willingly just to face down a judge? So
I've spent 3 days in jail over this.
It's a disgrace. Good people. We're talking
Over
about
me
somebody's
going
son.
here.
no.
Well, over,
Okay.
not specifically you,
Gotcha.
over, you know, family court bullshit.
Good people. I would stand up. I'm here doing it now. I'm not a fan.
So, if you, I didn't have a chance to, you didn't introduce yourself to the audience, so you, Charlie?
Found out from an internet person that my son made the high honor roll.
Oh, wow,
No one in the
congratulations.
family contacted me.
Jim.
Child support's
Good to
paid
have
though,
you.
they'll take that.
Thank you very
But,
much.
No,
You know,
thank you.
it's,
Yeah, well,
it's a decade of parental alienation for my son who's only 11.
later on, we're
It's
going
5 years
when
of
you're free,
family
why don't
court
you go
now.
outside and get warm?
Just bullshit excuses, no,
I'm going to
no
go
answers.
in, and I'm going to demand the
accusations,
order.
no actual
the
evidence of
discharge order.
anything.
Yeah, you should get it.
And folks, if you're not aware, Charlie Schultz was instrumental. He's behind organizing this, so thank you, Charlie.
Thanks
and
for
he's
showing
been,
up, guys. I
absolutely,
appreciate
he's been
it.
also supportive in other events with myself, James, Roman, many others. So he's a regular. So thank you, Charlie.
Appreciate it. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, this is what we have. Hopefully, good to see James.
Good morning, inmates. I'm glad to be back in general population.
There we go.
You got to have a sense of humor.
Yeah, you do.
You got to know your rights. You got to know how to lawfully enforce them, even if you have to walk into jail, and vigorously do so,
Yes.
even if you have to walk into jail.
Absolutely.
You know, when I can't adequately serve my clients by preserving the integrity of their transcript, there's a problem. It's not that I was looking to publish this or put this all over the internet, no. This was strictly, and I made it very clear, because I filed a notice of special appearance,
CPS
a very detailed notice of special appearance, that the clerk wanted to refuse. I filed an application for audiovisual coverage specifically outlining that this recording was to preserve what transpired, evidence of what transpired in the courtroom for my client
I'm not intimidated by the judges or the justice system.
to settle
I'm on the
the
side of
transcript
love and right.
should an appeal be necessary.
This is what men
This
do.
was not for publication. This was beyond the parties. This was not for
Innocent
broadcast.
loving children.
This
Not
was a
saying,
recording.
Who's going to speak up?
And for the judge to have denied
Who
this
speaks up to him? There's no Christmas
without
for him.
any kind of
Or his mother. Or his siblings. It's a disgrace.
without kind of
The judge
narrow,
in the case, the CPS,
objective,
none of them
and
are held
definite
accountable.
standards
You know damn well if it was your
was
son, you would
a
want them to
violation
be
of
held
due process,
accountable.
procedural
What
due
are
process,
reports from
because
the
we have the
school?
right
The
to settle
teachers came out
transcripts.
crying
New York State CPLR section.
because they didn't do enough. It was
New York-
CPS that didn't do enough. It was the judge
A little
that didn't
emotional
do
this
enough.
morning, but
Yes.
that's what we're here
And if
for.
it was your son, I'd be
New
here
York
right
State
now,
CPLR
speaking like
section
I'm
3116 for
Even if you
depositions
wouldn't speak
allows
for your own
recording
child,
pursuant
I would.
to 22
That's right.
NYCRR section 206.11. This is one of the reasons why judges don't let me speak in the court, because I know this stuff, I don't have to look it up.
And yeah, and miraculously, like, and you mentioned initially when you went to the clerk and you tried to submit upon your with your client, on behalf of your client, that you're representing her as a recording paralegal, they didn't want to take it, they didn't want to stamp it, but miraculously the judge actually acknowledged it because he had a written order. So it goes to show that you know what you're talking about, and they knew they were violating your rights.
And one of the things that he said was inapplicable was New York State Judicial
It may
Law
not matter
section-
now because it ain't your child.
Section 750 A sub 6
But let me know what happens when it is.
sentence 2, which says that the judge shall not have the power of contempt for a true, accurate, and complete depiction of what occurs in the courtroom. That's a recording. Now, I'm going to point out, Judge Laguercio, family court, supervising judge of family court, the day before, to Jim Fiegel. Jim?
Yes, Mr. Kelly.
All right. Jim Fiegel on December 11th Okay, I take the phone call. I'll just keep talking.
Thank you.
On December 11th, he was in the courtroom of Judge Lagurcio, and the judge ordered that he wasn't to take notes with a pen and paper.
Right.
No, that's not right. That's
Meaning?
not acceptable.
Yeah.
To limit the ability to even take notes with a pen and paper is preposterous. It's absurd. It's unacceptable.
And that's what I was trying to touch on before. Many are not aware. This is taxpayer funded, these courthouses, and we have a right as members of the public to attend public proceedings under Judiciary Law 4. So by blocking him out, totally.
Well, not only that, but under the First Amendment, the right to peaceably assemble.
Absolutely.
Over 100 times they close the courts. They close the courts and they cite sensitive. And I understand there are times, rare occasions, but over 100 times, and they don't even give me an opportunity now to speak. They don't even, when they close the court or make a motion, I request to be heard, and they don't even listen to me.
Which is another tactic to lock the public from what's going on behind these closed doors.
And surely
totally reprehensible.
And surely after what happened with Tommy Valva, you know, he isn't an isolated incident. For every time it's Valva, there's hundreds of kids suffering. And what they do is the closing, Judge Lagurcio, unfortunately, Judge Porter, and absolutely Judge Hughes. I mean, people should see what's going on. I invite you, my good friends and good citizens, I'm asking you to please come down to 400 Carlton Avenue and court watch family court. Innocent, loving children. They're suffering. You can stand out here and hear from the parents themselves. Again, I'm not even a parent, but due to the untimely death of my brother, I was put in a situation and put into family court. And I can't express to you the horrors, the absolute horrors that a little boy has to go through.
Unbelievable.
And these types of things happen over and over again on a daily basis. They don't all get killed, but this happens over and over on a daily basis. And I'm going to share with you a quick story of somebody I met in Holden. I don't even know his name. Now, there's all sorts of people
There was a heads
in
up
jail.
about it.
The person I happened to meet in Holding was a gentleman, an intelligent gentleman, 33 years old, who was on a $5 million bond, was a repeat offender, and had been a leader of a gang, and tried to walk away from it. However, it's hard to walk away from that, and he had trouble with it. He wanted to set an example for children not to go and do that sort of thing. And I watched this gang leader break down into tears, literally tears streaming down his face, that he wished he had his father in his life, because his life would not be as it is now. He was facing life. He had $5 million bond, bail that he was never going to be able to pay.
Let's give him some information.
And
Make sure you have your judge or shut
it's
up
just
and
sad
sit
because
down.
this happens
It's a
over
shame. It's a
and
disgrace.
over again.
We
This
know
is a
it's broken.
systemic
Tommy
thing.
Valva died in a cold garage.
The buck
after
just
40
doesn't stop in
people.
Suffolk County. This is all over the state and the
God bless
country.
you.
The buck stops with we the people.
That's right.
And if we the people accept this, then we get the government that we deserve. If we don't accept it, change happens. And this is an example. I'm here today instead of in a 23-hour lockdown out in Yaphank.
Yeah, and again, it's great to have you back, and absolutely, you know, we all support you and we're all behind you.
Well, I certainly didn't do this by myself, and it's only through the support of we the people, a unified will of we the people, that that adhere to the rule of law.
And what happened to you was
Shame on
completely
family court.
excessive. What happened? I mean, it was
disgrace.
totally violated your rights.
No garage.
Completely excessive, and it's
40
just
reports
shameful.
from the
Shame
school.
on
Imagine
Judge
if it was your son or
Alfred.
grandson.
What is his name?
Who
Alfred
speaks
Graff.
up for him?
Shame on you if you listen.
I'll speak up for him, and
I
I didn't know
would have
him.
walked through
And
the
I would
30
speak up
days.
for
I
your
knew
child
that
and
when I walked into the
grandchild. As a
courtroom. I knew
veteran, a
that
member
before
of
I
this
walked into the
community,
courtroom.
that's what real people
At some point,
stand up
it was
guys
going to be
do. They
required
protect
of me.
innocent, loving children.
And
Not like this shithole.
that's just part of the price I pay for doing what I do.
I'm not afraid
And
of
really,
judges.
all I wanted to do
So
was
I'm
be a
on the
dad
right
to my
of
children.
love.
But I'm one of the dads that has been pushed out of my
And
child's
righteousness.
life. Both children,
As
Rachel
a
and
child,
Daniel. And I find that to be
Shame
so
on them.
egregious. And there's a price to be
Innocent,
paid.
loving parents.
And I will have the
Victimized
courts pay
children,
that price.
victimized.
And there will be cameras in the courtroom.
Free information
Absolutely,
about families.
100%.
Have a good day.
I agree.
And to those watching, yes, I am okay. And especially now that I've had a couple of coffees.
I hope you had a good meal as well.
I did,
Okay.
but I've got to tell you, the hardest part for me was my caffeine withdrawal.
Caffeine's a drug.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Man, I could imagine.
But I knew that going in too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the kind of thing where we just cannot we cannot let this stand. And the court officers, I'm going to point out the court officers, each and every one of them, be it the special response team,
Yes, thank
be
you to the fine court officers. We're lucky to have them
majors,
here.
or
Always professional.
anybody right down to you know, somebody without a rank. They've all been very professional. They're in an awkward spot here. They have orders from the Office of Court Administration, New York State Office of Court Administration, that they are to, if they find somebody recording, that they are to inform them that there is to be no recording. And if the person refuses to stop recording, they are to be asked to leave. That didn't happen last year.
How can people remain silent
If
when innocent,
they
loving
refuse to
children
do
are
both,
suffering?
then they are to be arrested. Now, what's the lawful
I,
charge?
for one, won't remain silent.
There
tragedies
are a
that are
variety of
occurring
different
here.
charges. They like disorderly
Families
conduct.
ripped apart.
They like
CPS is a
trespassing.
failure.
And of course, I was doing neither
40
because I was there
reports
for a lawful
and the kid
purpose on
dies
behalf
in a
of my
cold
client,
garage.
a domestic violence
The
victim.
judge wasn't prosecuted.
And if
or
I
a
can't
CPS
support
caseworker.
a domestic
If it was
violence
your
victim
son or grandson,
in a
would you
courtroom
want that
where
caseworker
she's the only
prosecuted?
non-attorney
Are they
party,
doing their job? Are they negligent?
then there's an issue.
How can we have
Especially
children
when
in
she
their
had
care?
been railroaded
It's a
previously.
disgrace.
So
Family court is a
she had lost
disgrace.
contact with her younger son for 2 years. That's unacceptable to me. It is absolutely unacceptable to me. She wasn't in jail. I did see the arrest records of her ex-husband, multiple arrest records. He's an attorney. And I had also seen that he represented himself in the arrest records as a teacher rather than an attorney. So I suspect
Everybody's hanging outside.
that he did
There's
not
only 5 of us
file
here.
with the court system the appropriate documentation
Since he got out, left
that he was an attorney and that he was arrested on multiple occasions. And that's a problem. To whitewash this and to steamroll her, and you know, they're adults.
Yeah, boy, he's got everything.
But now let's talk about the children,
He's got everything.
because those are really the ones that I
Yeah, he's there.
mean, they have the right to
Now,
go.
you know, James, personally.
And if there's a dynamic going on that
Really
causes
quite interesting.
the younger child to cut off the mother,
That's why I tried to get you to
is
go
that their
to
authentic
a couple of
wish
times, a couple of meetings.
as an
remember?
adult,
So,
or is that identification with the aggressor?
no, there at night.
And doesn't that need to be determined by somebody that can make that determination? I think it does.
My point is, he
And I think unless a child
It's really
has that
silly,
determination
it's really
as to whether or
something
not they're
else.
identifying with an aggressor or not, the fact that they have an attorney
Oh,
is
did you,
not
when
due
did you want
process,
to go to,
because the attorney is just a mouthpiece for them in the courtroom. And they may not be giving their authentic wishes. They may be in the care, custody, and control of the aggressor that is using them as a pawn or a proxy for domestic violence against the other parent. And unless that's determined, there is no due process for the children. And I'm tired of this happening in court day in, day out.
forget you.
Whether it's my children or someone else's children, one day it'll be my grandchildren. And if I don't take a stand now, well, then that's my fault.
I don't want you to
So,
think I
yeah,
feel
my
sorry,
children have
because
been
I
pushed
don't.
out of my life. When they ask me, someday, and they will, what did you do? Well, I started fighting for their children. And that either will hold meaning for them or it won't. But that's why I do what I do. And that's why I'll walk in here completely fearless. Okay, so you're going to arrest me? Great. I got the outfit.
That's right. And yes, wow, it's you're just amazing and incredible. Thank you for your bravery. I mean, it inspires a lot of others, and you know, it's a great thing, especially with what's happening. We just have to expose this whole system, the slimy, rotten, corrupt system. That's all that it is.
It truly is. There is no basis for due process. We've got, we have all sorts of special, they rolled out the special response team for this particular protest. And so there are a number of court officers specially trained to deal with all sorts of tactical situations. And well, the only weapon I carry is or the only arm that I carry, and it's a defensive arm, is a camera. That's it. And if you're afraid of a camera, I've got to ask why. Why would a judge sitting in a courtroom that is acting lawfully fear a camera? Well, I can tell you that Judge Graff committed first and third degree criminal coercion, and maybe he didn't want his high crimes and misdemeanors recorded, which is why he asked me to turn off the camera and delete the recording, which I did not do. All right, so there is that issue. There's also the issue where if the judge is acting in a tyrannical manner, for whatever reason, to prohibit the recording of what transpires in the courtroom with unbridled discretion, using prior restraint in an arbitrary and capricious manner, well, is it really the accuracy of the transcript that disturbs him? Is he or she adjusting and altering the transcripts that much that's a concern? Or are they completely afraid that evidence of judicial misconduct, high crimes and misdemeanors will be incidentally recorded? I think the latter. And if that's their fear, get them out of the courthouse. There isn't one of them that has been elected into position. They've all been pre-selected by the parties. They have been cross-endorsed by the parties. They run unopposed, so if they're on the ballot, they're getting in. Newsday, for this last election, didn't even cover the judicial end of the Suffolk County elections. They posted the legislative, they posted the executive. They didn't bother with the judicial because it wasn't an election.
100%. The whole election process, it's a joke. It's a joke. And just to chime in, you mentioned, yes, you know, you mentioned about what do they have to hide. I mean, myself as a retired police officer, most police officers are mandated to wear body cameras when they interact with the public. Why should judges not be held to the same standard? Do you agree, Jim?
Well,
they're also making life-altering decisions, just like cops could make.
That statute that you're referring to that protects the civil rights to record police is New York State Civil Rights Law Section 79-P, and it applies to all police officers, all peace officers, all security guards. And here's the thing: New York State CPL Section 2.10 sub 21 refers to court officers, all court officers, as being police officers. Now, there's never a courtroom that's open or closed that doesn't have a court officer in it. And therefore, there is the right to record. Now, the determination here and the issue, the point of controversy is you're allowed to record law enforcement related activities. Well, in 79P, that's a little bit vague, although it is defined. However, if you want a more accurate determination, you look at labor law. Specifically, Title 29 of the Code of Federal Regulations, Section 553.211, defines what law enforcement related activities are, and the court officers securing the courtroom certainly fit that definition. Therefore, I believe there is the right to record in the courtroom. Now, That's recording. That doesn't speak to broadcasting. Because just because you can record doesn't mean you can broadcast. That the judges do have discretion over. However, I don't believe the judges have the discretion to deprive the right to record. And I would specifically cite New York State Judicial Rules, Title 22, NYCRR, Section 29.1 sub B, that carves out an exemption for parties and those working on their behalf to record court proceedings. And of course, this is all couched in with permission of the court, discretion of the judge. Here's the issue there. This isn't a privilege. This is a not just a fundamental right. This is an absolute. The absolute right to procedural due process.
Absolutely.
It's part of the procedure. If you're going to appeal, you are required, pursuant to New York State CPLR Section 5525C, to certify the transcript as accurate. Unless you have a recording to compare it to, you can't do that. I've seen substantial errors in recordings on numerous occasions. In fact, I've yet to see one that's perfect. So, and I've recorded on numerous occasions. So the judge's portrayal that I was somehow interfering with the administration of justice is, how shall we say this? What's the correct legal term? Oh yes, bullshit. And I'm going to point to the arraignment of Sean Paul Reyes, Long Island Audit, on September 19th in Nassau County before Judge Nolan Samet, where I put an audiovisual application in, turned it into a motion to either grant the application or explain how he's not denying my rights pursuant to New York State Civil Rights Law Section 79P, and he denied the motion. Of course, I recorded anyway. He never knew about it. But my action of hitting a record button is not in any way interference with the administration of government. It's not. And that case proves it, because not only did I record, but I got a copy of 3 out of the 4 pages of the transcript. I corrected them, and I put them into a video where the color-corrected transcript was in the video, and the recording was the audio. And I sent it to New York State Chief Administrative Judge Joseph Zayas immediately thereafter, and published it on YouTube. Long Island, let's see, what is it? Auditing the Courts. So, good morning. Good. So, you've got a situation where, good morning. How are you? Good. You've got a situation where, I've lost my train of thought.
It's okay. Take your time.
I think I was back up with 79. Oh, perfect. Thank you. So the right to record, yes, we have that. The right to broadcast, no, that the judge has discretion over. In terms of taking away cameras, well, those are arms, defensive arms. I have the right to bear them. My right to bear them shall not be infringed. You can't take them away. And if you want to see case law on that, that interprets that, you look at Federalist Essay 29, you look at the Second Amendment, and then you look at the determination of what arms are in Heller v. Georgia 1984 United States Supreme Court decision. And you will find that cameras, while never thought of at the time of the Constitution, certainly fit within that definition. Now, in addition to 29.1 sub B, the only thing that I did was I directly disregarded a mandate in sight of the court. I will agree that I had done that. But to actually be guilty of contempt, it has to be a lawful mandate. The mandate to turn off the camera was not a lawful mandate, in my opinion. and I still have the right to appeal. So, and I do intend to appeal. New York State Judicial Law
This is
Section
so the
758
lawyers
of
and the judges aren't
672
so corrupt.
is
That's why we need
You're
cameras.
telling me what's that, Charlie?
is what deprives the judge of the ability to hold me in contempt. And if I was wrong, I don't think I'd be standing here doing this video. If you can excuse me, I need to say
I'm
goodnight.
Donald.
Yeah, absolutely. So there it is, James Kelly, a bunch of other supporters we have, so people are piling in.
My good friend Layla.
Important First Amendment advocacy event.
Jim that took the bullet for all of us.
Yes. I rock
All right,
these colors.
let's speak to a few other.
Hey, how are you, bro?
How are you?
How are you? How's everything?
Good. Anything to say? This is Mike. Introduce yourself.
I'm Mike Houlihan. I'm a victim of family court. I've been in the court for 10 years. I have nothing to be mad about. I won custody of my sons. I kept my pension. I kept my house. I have my sons 365 days a year. I have major sympathy for my wife. They have broken up my family unit, and they stole $240,000 from my wife. Actually, there's a lawyer right now coming.
It's
And
like
that's-
wow,
that's-
talk
that's
about
Fran Moss.
coincidence.
They extorted $240,000 from
Fran
her.
Moss, good morning.
Broke up my family unit. My kids don't see their mother anymore because of Fran Moss and Ryan Reisman.
How do you feel about that, Fran Moss? Anything to say?
Now, if they had cameras in the court, this would have been prevented. Fran Moss wouldn't have been able to get away with what she did. They froze my money for years, had no access to my money. They wouldn't release my money, and my kids had to suffer. Luckily, I have a great foundation of friends like you and others that were able to help me out, and they'll all be paid back greatly. But they extort money. My wife paid $240,000. You know how long it takes to save $240,000?
Oh yeah, could imagine.
And now my kids don't see. Imagine not being able to see a mother who's alive
Terrible.
because of what the tyranny that they
Yeah,
started.
they're bunch of tyrants.
And I would embarrass them. Judge Karen Laguercio was having sex in her chambers with lawyers. She sexually harassed her court clerk that they had to move him from family court to Supreme Court. She's married, has kids, her husband's raising the kids, and she's here having sexual relations
Unbelievable.
with lawyers while her
And
family is.
these are the individuals that are appointed, elected to the bench. Just a disgrace.
And then the lawyers lie to the judges. And think about it, if you're a judge and I know you for 30 years, why would I as a lawyer lie to you?
Right?
They don't let you see the judges. They make you wait out in the hallway. And like I said, I won. I won huge. Why am I here today? I'm here fighting for all the future victims and the victims that were in the past. It's got to change. But
Yes.
Judge Krekka is a coward. He's afraid to meet with us. He's afraid to hear the truth. You know, allegedly, he beats his wife in his hot hog home. And, you know, these people are not mentally sane. And it's disgusting what goes on.
It's a disgrace. And yeah, thank you for coming to support James in light of what happened. And I think, like I said before, I emphasize all this public support for him just created his release. So I think that had a hand to play initially when this slimy tyrant, Judge Alfred Graf, sentenced him to 30 days, which in my opinion and many's was excessive.
Of course.
You know, all he did was exercise his First Amendment right to record, and for him to be sentenced like that is a disgrace. You have people who are violent felons committing violent felonies getting a slap on the wrist and released the next day. It's just insane. And thank goodness, you know, we came together, we supported him, everyone, and he's appreciative and behind him 100%. This was able to be made possible, and he was able to get out. So,
But now look how many court officers are here. They're admitting guilt. Why do they have court officers here? only, what, 10 of us? They never had this before.
Yeah.
They're guilty. This admits guilt that they're out there.
There are many people that
Great.
apparently, and they stand up for me too.
James Kelly's in the Rosa Parks of 2023.
Absolutely.
And hopefully the court system changes. Look what happens to law enforcement. You see it firsthand. They're wearing cameras.
Right.
You know, the government's overseeing things. And what they're doing to law enforcement is extreme. So now Judge Kreka and all these other head judges need to sit down with us and find out what the problem is. They know what the problem is. How do we fix this problem of the broken down courts? How is it that mothers and fathers aren't seeing their kids? How are kids being taken away from their parents?
Without any due process, especially situations where they use order protection as a silver bullet. There's never been any arrests before, child neglect, but yet parents who have a perfectly clean record and are, you know, good citizens, they're the ones who are getting shafted.
Exactly. And if you see the movie, there's a documentary on YouTube, Divorce Court, they talk about this. They do this to break down the children, so the children...
It's an attack on family.
They get divorced. It's future clients.
They want to separate families. And I mentioned in my other videos, you know, families aren't just getting separated at the southern border. It happens right here in our own backyard, in Suffolk County and many other locations within the state and the country. So, you know, this has to be reported, and the media refuses. So if they refuse, myself and many others who have that capability now through the modern age of social media are going to expose it.
Exactly.
Perfect. Thank you again. Thank you, Mike, for your support. Yeah, my pleasure.
And this is a revolution. We're growing, and we're with the social media, we're communicating, we're able to share ideas and share resources. And now, you know, you came all from far away, and we'll be coming to you from far away. And
we'll continue to express peacefully our First Amendment rights to expose the tyranny within the judicial system.
Exactly.
That's what we're doing.
Our power is snowballing bigger and bigger.
That's right.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Mike.
So I get changed again. I go back to my cell, and I wait. And I have a court officer come in and tell me that.
So, how are you? This is, if I didn't catch you off guard, I'm with Tracy Arms,
This is coming down from
right? And this is her friend.
This is a good friend of mine.
Hello to the audience.
Makes no sense for me to do a written.
And I'd interviewed James previously before you got here, as well as a few other people who came to support. If you want to say a few words about what happened and, you know, talk to the audience.
Absolutely.
And I
This
do
is exactly
respect
what
that.
happened. As a victim of
But
domestic
now
violence
you
and
have
my ex-abuser
a
happens
right
to
of
be a
access
fellow
to
member of
court
the bar.
issue
This is
and
why
an
Judge
ADA
Graff
issue
and Karen
where I
Ballard,
wanna
they worked
get
together.
myself out of it.
And Judge Graff
And I
has
need
always
my
been
glasses
aware
to
he has
do
a
it.
horrible
And
reputation
these are the
along
only
with
ones
Karen
I have.
Ballard, the children's attorney
So,
based here in Suffolk County, New York
I
Family
explained that
Court.
to him,
They have a
and
huge reputation
it
of
is
turning
what
a
it is.
blind eye.
Had lunch.
It's based on
Had a
facts.
visit at
People,
2:30.
do your due diligence, do your
And
research. This is all facts.
surprised me.
I was there.
He told me about
I
this
needed my AD advocate, which is
other
James Kelly,
person that
because
was
Judge Graff knew I had a
incarcerated for
bogus
29 years.
petition
The charges
in front
were
of him that is been,
disproportional to what he
everyone knows
did.
the law except for
And
the
on the
victims.
last day of
I
Hanukkah,
unfortunately have to
President Trump
be,
commuted a
2 feet away
sentence.
from someone that nearly strangled me
And
to
he
death.
got out.
As he did my child as well. So
7
I
years
needed,
instead of 29.
James Kelly there.
Okay.
He was only, and
Great.
99%
So
of the
I go
times,
back into
my transcripts
I go back
are not
into
what
the
exactly
cell
transpired in
after
the
that,
courts.
full
And
strip
that's
search.
why we need cameras in the courts.
And back
because
into the
we're
cell
not having that
for a
transparency
23-hour
and the
lockdown.
actual 100%
And,
authenticity of what happened during our court process. So it was Mr. Kelly advised Judge Graff that this is exactly what he was doing as a paralegal, as my paralegal, and my ADA advocate, and being a victim of domestic violence. He was there to make sure everything was truthful and honest. Judge Graff got upset. Mr. Kelly made the judge and I believe the officers aware that he was filming. Mr. Kelly was attempting to shut it off politely as we witnesses were all there, and Judge Graff got upset because Mr. Kelly couldn't delete a facet. And I don't even think I got to see Mr. Kelly hold up the telephone past his shoulders. What happened was beyond devastating and travesty. As a victim, this is the last thing I needed to be continuously victimized now by the court and have their legal abuse. It was an outrage to see this continuation of the abuse of these judges. Judge Graff wants no transparency in his court. He wants a closed court. There is no reason, as I gave birth to these two children, that as a mother and a parent, that there is no reason I should have my court advocates and court watchers there as well. This is an outrage. My fundamental right was taken away, as well as Mr. Kelly's. This has to stop, people. If we don't speak up, then this is just continuing to happen. So there has to be accountability. Enough is enough. Think about it. Why would a judge be so against a recording device if he was doing something ethically and morally, and what he should be doing, honestly? Obviously, there's a lot of corruption, and this is why Judge Graff doesn't like any cameras in court, especially his, along with Karen Villar. So that's when it was a complete travesty, and all our fundamental rights were taken away Monday.
Thank you for sharing. And yeah, you heard it from her, and this is why we're all here. We're here to support James, and let's make our way over here again.
Which they did last time. They both got up and said, "Look, I don't want this guy to leave."
Oh, you've met before?
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. No, I mean, we're talking about a child. I don't care what she's screaming. She's asking everybody, "Please help, please help."
So,
and you know, I can't leave
these
without
are all
at least
the
letting them be responsible.
supporters. More will be coming in shortly. If you haven't, if you're just tuning in, this is a First Amendment advocacy rally to support James Kelly, who was unlawfully detained by Judge Alfred Graff for expressing his First Amendment right to record in the courtroom. Subsequently, the judge held him in contempt, sentenced him to 30 days. Fortunately, there's a lot of support rallied behind James.
Because the lawyer first said,
and essentially, due to that, I
but
believe
then when she bravely said that,
they were forced to release him miraculously.
It
happened for
then
those who are faith-based. This happened on the 8th day of Hanukkah.
So let me ask you this.
There's a story similar to that where an individual, I believe his name was Lubashkin,
perfect.
and he was also pardoned by President Trump at the same time. So, you know, there's no coincidences, you know. God is on our side as well, and I think he played a hand as well in this. Okay.
That's such bullshit, man. Go ahead, go in there and we'll meet you in there.
All right, I'm signing off for now. I'll be back shortly in a few.
I will come out.